What's up, Brooks?
What is up, Baron?
How are you on this fine Thursday morning?
Once we start talking about our topic of the day, my mood is going to decrease and decrease. So let's keep it. We're doing decent.
It's
I
good.
hit a plus 1,000 bet yesterday.
There you go. That's
If you know
pretty
what that
high.
means.
I
So
do. How's your
yeah.
spring break treating you?
I didn't go anywhere, so it's
Mm-hmm.
been chill. Low key
That's
been
good.
working a little bit,
Okay.
but it's good to get a break.
That's
So
nice. That's
yeah,
nice. Well, we're about to give them a break. Unfortunately, it's time scheduling's going to be off next week, so we got a very special free agency episode for you
we
guys
do.
today. It's going to be fast paced, moving quick. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it.
Welcome to the greatest podcast on earth. Nothing agreed. We have a great show for you tonight, so stay tuned and buckle up.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Nothing Agreed. Back with the boys today. Free agency special. Baron, I have not asked how you are doing, so let's open up with always the same question. How are you doing in a dark, fever pitched room right now?
I'm good. Yeah, you can see the light start to come through the Jalen Hurts flag right there.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm good. Last week, spring break's next week for me. Technically, my class today got canceled. My absence is excused tomorrow, so I'm already on spring break. But yeah,
Damn.
little week and a half for me. But yeah, we will not be able to record unfortunately for next week, so we're gonna hopefully give you guys a good episode this week about everything that's happened so far in free agency. And I think since we have 32 teams to talk about, we just got to jump right into it.
Let's
Um,
do it.
and let's
I'm
start.
ready.
We got a list right here, alphabetical order. That's always the best way. And we're gonna. I think the best way to do this, Brooks,
I think
is
alphabetical order is the worst way to do it.
yeah for you. Um, I think we're just gonna go over a team, give a grade, talk about it briefly, and then we're gonna move on. So the
Let's
first
do it.
team that I have right here on my list and your list as well is the Arizona Cardinals. And for the most part, I think I would give them a C minus. I like Tyler Algier. I think that's a good signing to back up James Conner, who they've made it pretty clear that they want to keep. I like the offensive line upgrades, although they're older guys. Those are pieces that can come in, mentor younger guys, and just give you some good play if you need it. And they've made it pretty clear that they're not going, or they're looking towards next year's draft in terms of looking for a quarterback. So I think Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, that's fine for what you're paying for. Obviously, letting Kyler Murray go, I don't know how much dead money's in that is involved, but that's definitely going to affect it. But all in all, I think a C minus to a C. I think they're right there in the middle. I don't think they did anything crazy, but I don't think they did anything horrible either.
Yeah, I was thinking about giving this one a D plus,
Okay.
but actually I'm gonna bump them up to a C. And the reason I bumped them up to a C is it's just baseline for the Arizona Cardinals. They aren't competing, they aren't contending. They put their money in a 1 year bridge in Gardner Minshew, and will probably look to next year's draft for a quarterback. I don't think they'll get a quarterback this draft.
Yeah, I don't think they do
At the
either.
number three pick, I think they'll get a little more talent, especially with the guys that are in this class. But you look at it. I mean, Kendrick Bourne, 5 mil a year, nothing special. Isaac Sumalo, 10 mil a year on a guard, not bad whatsoever. Algier, I'm heartbroken he's leaving Atlanta because he's a pretty solid running back, but again, that's a guy that isn't like super talented. You didn't really go out and make that splash move, and to me, honestly, it's just yeah, you're a team that's probably going to finish in the bottom three next year, and you're playing for the draft. I wish they made some moves in the trade market to land more capital because right now the only picks they have are their own. So I wish they could make some moves there. But other than that, I think this is at least for signing wise, I think it's just a straight C baseline, nothing special.
Yeah, and in terms of you talking about draft capital, one thing to watch out for, although I don't think it's going to happen, but the tight end market this offseason has not looked to be very strong. So
Yeah.
if teams are looking to add a very solid tight end, Trey McBride is definitely a name that would probably warrant a first round pick. So that's a name to just keep in mind as we go through the offseason. But I'll let you do this next one. I think that's only fair. to start it off.
You want to intro who it is?
Oh, it's the Atlanta Falcons, obviously. Alphabetical. It's not hard to figure out.
No.
Yeah, what would you give them grade-wise?
I want to say F
Oh,
or
good
D
lord.
minus. I want to say
Okay.
F or D minus, but
Okay.
I'm gonna say D plus, and
Jesus
here's
Christ.
why.
Okay.
Um, I New general manager came in for the Atlanta Falcons from the Bears, and Ian Cunningham. Ian Cunningham has worked, a lot with the Bears as usual, but he's also had some stints, a little bit as well connection wise with the Philadelphia Eagles. And Baron, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Chicago Bears built their roster the same way. Of course, the Eagles has landed themselves, what is it, one Super Bowl in that time, two appearances, and then the Bears, went all the way and lost to the Rams in the divisional round,
Mm-hmm.
but still a very young core that looks to be probably top of the NFC North next year. The one way they did that, Baron, is through the draft, trading their guys, draft capital. And in my opinion, if you're not, the worst position to be at in any sport is mid. If you
Mm-hmm.
are mid, you are in the worst position because you're not good enough to compete for a Super Bowl or even make a deep playoff run, and you're not bad enough to where you get a good draft pick and get talented people, higher odds. So I think this signing class, letting people go, I think this is Ian Cunningham saying, looking at the Atlanta Falcons roster, we are not good enough. And so you get a guy like Tua Tagovailoa. You know how I feel about that. Austin Hooper. Okay. You sign a 41-year-old kicker and Nick Folk, or like 45-year-old kicker and Nick Folk. Your kind of premium signing is either Azeez Ojulari or Jahan Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Um, I think the biggest thing for the Falcons is probably that just Kyle Pitts coming back. I know it's on the franchise tag and there's room to work a new deal out this season, but
Oh, wow.
again,
Go
I
ahead.
think head coach Kevin Stefanski, I mean, he's shown that he likes to use tight ends a lot. I think Kyle Pitts will benefit a lot in this offense. Remind me, who did the Falcons lose?
We've lost Algier. We've
Yeah.
lost Caden Ellis,
Mm-hmm.
which was our leading linebacker.
Yeah, that I know that one hurts.
That one really hurts. We've lost some good names. We lost a couple wide receivers. Our wide receiver room is absolutely trash.
I wouldn't say trash.
Our
I mean,
wide receiver room is
I
trash.
see
He's not good.
Alameda Zaccheaus on here. Jahan
That's not that
Dotson.
good.
He has a lot
Jahan
of upside, I
Dotson's
think.
all right. Drake
Um,
London. You don't really have a two next to Drake London.
I think Jahan Dotson can be a reliable too. Obviously, that's coming from an Eagles fan, but
Yeah.
he was pretty. I mean, he showed he had the traits to be a good number two when he was in Washington. Obviously, he got traded to be a number three over in Philadelphia, but I mean, he played behind AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. I think that's one of those signings. I think you can got to wait and see. I think that has a lot of upside. Personally, I don't mind the Tua Tagovailoa signing. I didn't realize it was for not that much money.
For that minimum, basically.
Yeah,
I think
for the
for the
for the
money,
for the
it's
money
pretty
that you
good.
signed him for, I think that's actually pretty good. I think it's just all upside. Obviously, if Michael Penix isn't ready to go week one, that's a guy who can step in, has been a starter, has played at a high level, and can give you some production. Again, Tua Tagovailoa might just need to change of scenery, and his career's back on track. He could rise above Michael Penix and be the next guy. I just think there's a lot of upside to this signing. Me personally, I would honestly give the Falcons probably a B minus. I know the loss of Ellis is pretty bad. I'm not talking. I'm talking specifically free agency. I'm not talking about draft capital that you have. Blah blah blah. And I'd argue that the last year's move before he gets arrested, trading this year's first to get James Pierce Jr. is a good move. I think the pairing of those two edge rushers,
Oh,
it
yeah,
worked
yeah,
out.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think, unfortunately, off the field things happen. Sucks to suck, but
We can't have shit in Atlanta.
yeah.
Um,
But you have here's the bright side: you have your draft picks next year. Everyone says next year is the holy mecca of the NFL draft, apparently. So that's the draft you want to have picks for. And look,
so
if the season starts off bad, let's start unloading players for picks and get ready.
okay, you just took the words right out of my mouth. I have talked with a very known prominent Instagram user who's an Atlanta Falcons fan.
Oh, good Lord.
And you've actually sent me some of his stuff before. And I was talking with him, and he goes, "I'm one of the few rare Falcons fans that would totally just blow it up right now and trade Drake London, trade all this." And I was like, "I'm totally on your ship." Like if we aren't good next year, which we aren't good next year, I don't think so. We don't make a surprise in the first 4 games. I'm shipping Pitts. I'm shipping London. I'm shopping Bijan. I'm sorry. I'm shopping Bijan. I'm getting as much capital. I'm saying I'm shopping Penix. I'm shopping. I think Jalen Walker is a keep because of how young he is. But I'm shopping these guys. I'm getting draft capital, and I'm saying let's do an Eagles. Let's do a Bears. Let's absolutely suck, and let's build for the draft. So, and we can suck for another 4 years because this team is honestly probably going to suck for another 4 years, even if they have these guys. So, let's move on quickly. Let's get one word from you, and then we'll move on.
Just say the division seems to be the kings of the division. The Buccaneers seem to be on the downtrend. Obviously, if the Saints and Panthers looking like they're on the rise. But yeah, I think it's wide open right now in terms of the division. I think the Falcons, while it looks a little shaky right now, I think they have the pieces that can be put together. But yes, I would agree if it doesn't look good and we're getting close to the trade deadline and you're 3-4 games below 500, it might be time to start offloading some names. But we'll move on to probably the most prominent team in this year's trade deadline, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. Now, obviously, they've only really signed one player or two players. This article is not updated with the big one. But that's not the talk of the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, Brooks, what they did was they traded for Max Crosby before free agency opened up. They gave up this year's first-round pick, next year's first-round pick, and some more draft capital for the all-pro edge rusher. Now, free agency comes around the corner. They have a lot of money tied up in the Max Crosby contract that they have projected coming in, and they miss out on re-signing some of their guys, whether that's money issues, culture issues, whatever you have it. They lost a lot this free agency. So they come back. It comes out Max Crosby fails his physical, and the Ravens are blocking the trade. They're keeping their draft assets, and then they go out and sign Trey Hendrickson, a little bit of an older guy, but has been equally as good at the peak of his career, if not better, to a much cheaper contract. And I think the whole talk of all this is, well, what happened? How does this look from the league's perspective? And I've done something. Haven't done it in a long time. You'd be very proud of me, Brooks, but I was watching ESPN yesterday morning.
I'm not proud of you. Fuck ESPN.
Well, for the first time in a long time. That's what I meant. Yeah, anyway, they were talking extensively about the reputation of the Ravens, right? They brought in Mike Tannenbaum, the former GM who works for them now, and he was talking about integrity of the league, blah, blah, blah. And I think the real question is how authentic is this seem to you? Because to me, what it looks like happened, right? Everyone knows Max Crosby's injured, the Ravens included. They were very committed to adding him to their roster for the long term. Again, I don't think you give up that much draft capital to not know about something that only gets revealed in a physical. They have a history of doing things like this, not telling other teams about the health conditions of their players when they trade them to other teams, and then those players can't play. So yeah, I think this is honestly, I think the Ravens intended to do this, lost all of their free agents, realized that they were screwed for the future, also realized they had a get out of jail free card, and did the snakiest move they could. I think they should be investigated. I think that's a lot of also what I learned in this whole process is that because you remember you and I were talking about failing a physical and what that warrants. So I did a little more research. The team sets the standards of the physical. So the Ravens determine what metrics need to be met for him to play. So I think that's also a little more sketchy, if you ask me, because that's basically just saying, well, if you can't reach this ridiculous milestone, then we're not going to trade for you. So I think that's sketchy. That needs to be reworked as well. But yeah, this is a bad look for the Ravens, in my opinion. Around the league, what are the consequences going to be? Are they going to have struggles doing more deals of the future? This personally, I'm giving them an F for their grade so far. I think Trey Hendrickson, you might get half of what he was able to do last year, and then he's just going to putter out. But I mean, he's 32, and he was out all of last season. I don't know why. I mean, there's a reason that he was not one of the first guys out of free agency, despite being the top guy on the board. So yeah, I don't think that's going to work out for them. And I think next couple of seasons we might see Lamar Jackson on a new team.
Baron, I am inclined right now to believe the Ravens a little bit. Even with the history, I'm going to believe it just because of the pressure that has been put on Baltimore throughout the years of Lamar Jackson. So there kind of seems like there is an urgency to make a move and have it happen. Um, but I will say that it is a little weird just because you already know he had the injury. So it is a little weird. So I want to see a little bit of investigation. You're right. I do want to see that. Regarding the free agency, I'm not going to give an F, but man, I think this is low. I think I might give this a D minus to a D. Um, First of all, I think losing Isaiah Likely on the age that Mark Andrews is not good. I think Likely actually will be a pretty solid tight end and will take over tight end one responsibilities with the New York Giants. Also lost their punter, the Giants. Punter was pretty solid as well, and Jordan Stout. Trey Hendrickson, you took the words right out of my freaking mouth. I was going to quiz you. 32 years old, only playing 23% of snaps last year, and you give him, I think, around 29 million a year, 28, 29 million a year.
Yeah.
And that's a 4-year deal that extends him all the way to 36 years old. I don't like it. You also lose Tyler Linderbaum, which I think is a massive loss. I don't think people are talking about that much. I think Tyler Linderbaum is a massive loss.
I mean, the
and
Raiders made him the highest paid center for a reason.
Yeah. And they lost Draymond Jones. And Draymond Jones, I think, played over 3/4 of their snaps as well on the interior defensive line. So I don't like what the Ravens have done, and I'm gonna give it a D minus. I think you know what is crazy is I think if they traded for Max Crosby, I'll give him a D. I think if they traded for Max Crosby, I would have given him a D minus. And you might be like, whoa, they're acquiring an All Pro D end who's going to be 29, and you lose 2 first-round picks. And again, I think look at what Michael Parsons went for. I know Kenny Clark was in the deal, but 2 first-rounders as well. And you get a guy who's what, 25 when he got taken?
Mm-hmm.
A guy who's coming into his prime, of course, had that ACL injury, which sucks. But a guy who was coming into his prime and was probably top 3 pass rusher in the league. I don't think Max Crosby top 3 pass rusher in the league. I think, of course, he's still up there. I don't think he's top 3. I think Parsons is a better player, near the same value, and he's 4 years older. I would have given him a lower grade if they got Crosby because I don't think they would have even. I don't know if they even would have gone to like the conference championship. So I'm gonna give him a D.
Yeah, I mean, obviously if they traded for Max Crosby and retained all of the guys that they wanted to, I think we're looking at a little bit of a different team. I think that would be something that could make them competitive. But yeah, I don't like the money they have tied up in Trey Hendrickson right now. Like I said, he was sack leader 2 seasons ago, played like 2 games this season, injured himself, and now he's coming back at 32 years old.
Yeah.
I just don't love that, especially when you could keep those draft assets and try and find pass rush in the draft. Again, you specifically have said this year has a very deep draft class of pass rushers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it would have been better to spend your money elsewhere, beef up your lines, and then go get that star pass rusher that's young that'll be there for years to come. And obviously the draft picks this year and next year will help. So again, when I saw the Max Crosby trade for the Ravens, I didn't love that for them. I saw that, and I was not going to be like, this is a needle mover. Like, yes, they might win a couple games from this, but I don't think this puts them in Super Bowl contention. Obviously, their offense has a lot of holes. First-year head coach, we have to see how that works out. And there's probably other needs they should address in the draft, like wide receiver. But I don't like the Ravens right now, and I don't think either of these moves, whether it is Trey Hendrickson or the Max Crosby, I don't think those are needle movers for me. But we'll move on to the Buffalo Bills, who have had a pretty quiet free agency. They made a big trade getting DJ Moore. Going out and getting Josh Allen, a true wide receiver 1, the people are saying. They reworked Josh Allen's contract as well to get some more money, help them re-sign some guys. Dawson Knox is coming back. I think him and Kincaid, that'll be another good tight end duo. That's what the Bills like to do. They like to ground and pound. So
2 tight end sets, yep.
I'd give them a B. I think they've done what they needed to do. They didn't lose anything crazy. And they went out and got, I guess, the splash guy that you were looking for. I don't think it's anything crazy. DJ Moore's up there in age. Like, again, I don't think DJ Moore is going to be any better than Stephon Diggs was them 3 or 4 years ago. But it gives Josh Allen another competitive wide receiver to play with. So we'll see what he can do this time, right? But yeah, I think I give him a B, maybe a B minus.
Yeah, I'm on C plus B minus territory. I think I'm gonna go with a C plus. Um, the reason I get their grade actually really high is I think keeping Connor McGovern at center is a big move.
Mm-hmm.
I like that move to keep him, especially because the money was a little fringy. I actually, as a Falcons fan, didn't even mention this loss, which is why I have him a little lower. I think getting D. Alford for $5 million a year was a great signing. I think D. Alford's a pretty solid, like, 2-3 corner that can make some plays. There were some issues where I had him Atlanta Falcons, but for that money, I like the price. Um, I think actually what tanks are great is the DJ Moore trade. I do not like DJ Moore as a wide receiver. I think the Bills will find out why DJ Moore is not a very liked receiver in Chicago, and you'll find out why the man was averaging about 6 fantasy points a game as well. Not that fantasy matters, but this man really has some issues when it comes to getting open. So I think trading a second round pick for a 29-year-old wide receiver who's making 27 mil a year is not good. And I think he's again getting up there in age, and 29 in a skill position like wide receiver, running back is always getting near death sentence time. So I don't like that trade. I'm going to give them a C plus because I think McGovern's a great keep. I think Alfred's a great move. Money's tight. We'll give him up to a B minus because money's tight. But I
Yeah,
think what's stopping them from a B plus or an A minus to down to a B minus is that DJ Moore trade. And I think that's me being really harsh, but I think that's me being honest here.
I get the honesty. I just think you also have to look at the situation. I mean, who is the star receiver in this year's free agency class?
Yes, correct.
Exactly.
I understand that. But if you're going to trade a second round pick, I think you have to go get someone better than DJ Moore, who,
Here's the next question, though. But here's the next
by
question.
the way, we're going to get bumped down to a wide receiver 3 in Chicago because of Luther Burden.
That's true. But who else would you get for a second round pick? I mean, honestly, who's for sale? I know there's Brian Thomas Jr. talks, but
he's not really up for sale either. So
that's not what I've heard. I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
But
Schefter that yesterday downplayed the Brian Thomas Jr. talks.
okay,
And said that is not true.
he was a lot more available a couple weeks ago, back when this trade
And I
was
think
made.
you could have maybe got a second rounder for Brian Thomas Jr. I think you could have maybe late. I don't think Brian Thomas Jr. is worth a first round pick after last year.
No, I don't think.
Call me crazy.
Well, that's the
Call me
thing.
crazy.
Teams are saying he wasn't even worth a third. Like they were like,
There you go.
we'll give you a fifth for him, and the Jaguars were like, no.
I think Jacoby Myers is a better wide receiver than DJ Moore.
Yeah, well, they weren't trading Jacoby Myers; they just traded for him.
No. But I'm telling you, look at the value they got for Jacoby Myers.
That's true.
And the contract issue, and he didn't play. I get that, but you can get a guy like Jacoby Myers for a fourth rounder. You can get someone a little bit near the same value at a third to second rounder.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then: if you're the Bills, would you have given up a first and second for AJ Brown?
No, that's way too much value.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just think the wide receiver market this year was very steep, very hard to come by a good to decent wide receiver. And you look at the Bills, their window is shrinking. That's just a fact. It
is a fact.
It's not an opinion. Their window is shrinking. We saw last season Josh Allen had no help on offense besides James Cook. So I think the Bills feel that pressure to give Josh Allen a number one, and this was the best they could do with what they had. I don't think it's great. I think it's good. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. I think there's certainly upside to DJ Moore, especially when he's the only good wide receiver on your team. We saw it with that one season he was on the Bears with Justin Fields. But yeah, like you said, when you got Luther Burden and Rome Odunze in the building who just do things better and are younger, yeah, he's not going to find a role in that. So we'll move on to one of the big names in free agency, and that is the Carolina Panthers. Having two splash defensive signings. I think those are the main things that we're talking about because they didn't really lose a lot. They just retained the guys they needed to retain. But yeah, Devin Lloyd, big steal, and the big question mark, I guess you could say, is Jalen Phillips, 4 years, $120 million. I'm an Eagles fan. I was anticipating that was a guy that we brought back, re-signed. Not for $30 million a year, though. What is your reaction to that, Brooks? Well, before you say
Uh,
that, let me give you a fact. He is now, before any other contracts get reworked or extended, he is right now the seventh highest paid per year like pass rusher. I believe he's behind. I don't remember all he's behind, but he's behind guys like Michael Parsons, Max Crosby. Um, who else? Who else? I can't remember. Oh, Will Anderson, Aiden Hutchinson. Despite never having more
you say
than
Micah Parsons, probably Micah Parsons too, or no?
yeah, besides never having more than 8.5 sacks in a season. So for $30 million, Brooks, is this an overpay?
I am in. So I'm in a group chat of people that went to our established university, and a lot of them, of course, from Carolina. So they're going to be Carolina Panthers fans, and I am, of course, an Atlanta Falcons fan. So I try to keep my bias out of this one, but I think that is an overpay. And I went through a lot of arguments. Well, he had this highest win rate in terms of pass rush. It don't matter if you ain't gonna get the pressure numbers, you ain't getting the sack numbers. I'm sorry. You can get a win rate on linemen, but it matters if you actually pressure the quarterback. It actually matters if you get a sack at the quarterback. I think 30 million a year on Jalen Phillips is too much. I'm still gonna give the Panthers maybe a B plus, a B.
I was gonna give him an A,
I
A
think I'll give
minus.
him a B plus because I think Devin Lloyd's a great addition. I
It
think
is.
Devin Lloyd, that linebacker position, is amazing. You look at some of the other names that uh, freaking Carolina got. You look at the overall of like a backup quarterback. I think Kenny Pickett, not a
I
bad
like
backup
that. I
quarterback.
like that. That's a
I
Super
like
Bowl
that a
winning
lot.
backup.
A Super Bowl winning backup. I know you like to bring that out. I think Devin Lloyd's good. I think losing Rico Dowdle is not a big loss
Mm-mm.
whatsoever, to be honest.
I was
I
gonna say, I
think
think they're
getting
gonna, and they might replace him with Jeremiah Love. So
yeah. I
exactly, I don't,
mean,
I don't, I don't, I don't, I don't see him. To me, I think the Carolina Panthers are one of these two teams that have come out of free agency and the most exciting or fun positions to be in because they could really. There's a lot of things they could do in the draft to really boost this team. Like I've seen some Panthers fans on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff talking about, well, yeah, do we take Jeremiah Love now that the Chiefs might not take him, now that the Saints might not take him? Do we take Peter Woods to help booster this defensive line with Derek Brown and newly signed Jalen Phillips and second year Nick Scorton? Like, there's a lot this Panthers team can do. I think it's very exciting. Do they go get another receiver to help McMillan out? So yeah, I'm giving them an A minus. Only thing stopping it from an AA plus is I do think $30 million a year for Jalen Phillips is a lot of money. He's 26, I believe, been in the year for 7 years. Has a pretty
27.
pretty relevant injury history. Like that's not something
Yep.
that can really be
Thank you.
ignored.
Thank you. Thank you.
But you saw the production when he was on the Eagles. You give him a good defensive line to play with, and he can produce. So yeah,
Yeah.
if they can match that and give him
You
the same opportunities, then he might get a 10 plus sack season if he can
yeah.
stay healthy. He might
You said
play.
one thing.
Oh, sorry,
uh,
continue. No, you
No,
go.
you were the one continue. I don't know why I didn't continue anything. I was gonna say you said the one thing I wanted to say to close it out is I think this is one of the most fun teams position wise in the league. I think you're a Panthers fan.
You're
I'm gonna say it
excited.
now. Even we're not there yet, but I think they are the team to beat in the NFC South. I think if there is no reason that they should not be looking at the NFC South, of course, we'll get to another team. We'll talk about that. But I think there's no reason they should look at the NFC South and go, we can't, like, where there's no way that we are not the favorite to win the NFC South, and we should be competing to win the NFC South, which means you put yourself right in playoff position. It just depends on your quarterback play as well. I mean, I think Bryce Young is such a
Right.
streaky quarterback
Yes.
that you don't know what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the position the Panthers are in, and especially because I think you have yourself a true wide receiver one. You have
Mm-hmm.
yourself a true QB one. Not like he's crazy, but you have yourself a QB one. You have yourself pass rush. You have yourself a little bit of an exciting defense from what it was 2 years ago. One of the worst, if not the worst, maybe NFL history. So, yeah, I like the news the Panthers have made.
All right. So we are 30 minutes in, 5 teams in, so we're gonna be speeding up a lot.
Let's do it.
Bears. I don't really know. I haven't really been following the Bears too much. I'll give them a C. I think they've signed some guys, lost some guys. I think they've been right there in the middle. I won't get too in depth though. I haven't followed them that much.
Oh yeah, we have to speed this up now because we were
Well,
yapping. Yeah, No. You're
Where
right. You're right. I'm not.
where are you
No.
at
You're right.
super
You're right.
extra?
Stop. You're right. I'm gonna give them probably a C plus. I think they've nailed a couple things. Did well. But also lost some key players. I don't think there's nothing special about it.
Yeah, cool. We'll move right along. Bengals. I'm gonna give them a D plus or C minus. Obviously losing Trey Hendrickson, not been great. You haven't really done anything else. Um, couple defensive additions, some young guys. I think they're fine. They aren't splash moves to me. They have upside, but I don't think they're anything crazy. So I think C minus. C's D plus might have been a little rough, but I think C minus C somewhere in the middle. Obviously, you're the only one in your division that doesn't have a top 3 pass rusher on your team. So statistically, so yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, I think I like that. I'm gonna go with a C, straight down the middle, C minus. Just for me with them, they lost a couple people. I'll go C. I think getting someone like Brian Cook from the Chiefs pretty good. I think Boya Mafe is a good addition to replace Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think they've done anything crazy. I think the one thing I can give them credit for, especially at a C plus, is how well they've done keeping what's his name, keep free agents to be very solid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine for them. We'll move on to the Browns. I'm gonna give them a B minus or a B. I like the offensive line moves. We're gonna protect for our young backfield. Also opening up possibility a quarterback to be added next year if they don't love Shador. Quincy Williams, I think that's a fine signing. I know he's kind of older, but he could be in there, help the young guys. Again, this is a young Browns team. I don't think they were really looking to fill a ton of holes on this team through free agency. I think they're going to continue to look in the draft for that. But for what you did sign, I think it's good for mentorship and to fill some spots that you might not address in the draft to help your guys out. So I would give them a B. And I don't really think they lost a lot either, from my memory.
No.
So.
They actually, I read something about the Browns. They had their entire offensive line on expiring deal last year.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an entire need addressed. And I think they did well to cover it. I don't think they covered it with talent, though, which I think we're going to get exposed next year.
Well, we'll see.
So, and I think losing Devin Bush, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah, that was
is a bad loss at linebacker. They also lost Jedrick Wills. I want to give them a C.
Yeah.
I don't think this is anything special. I think this is still not a good free agency class for the Browns. I'll give them a C.
Yeah, C, B minus somewhere, and then all right, Dallas Cowboys. I don't think they did a ton. They re-signed key guys, obviously franchise tagging George Pickens. They were able to get Brandon Aubrey back on contract. Made a trade for Rashawn Gary, kind of swapping edge rushers over the course of a year, 2 years now. So you've got that. I think they were trying to make a move for Trey Hendrickson, make a trade for Micah Parsons, not Micah Parsons, Max Crosby. Obviously, that trade got rescinded after they traded for Rashawn Gary, so we'll see if they still want to go after Max Crosby. They said they have had interest. I'm just not totally in love with their free agent signings. I mean, can't really tell you much about Jalen Thompson. I don't really know much about their D tackle they signed. They signed a third string quarterback too, unless they're going to trade Joe Milton. So yeah, I think C minus is fine for them. They didn't really do anything. Maybe a B minus if you want to throw Rashawn Gary in there. I think that'll help, but he's old too, so I don't really know.
I like that. I like B minus. I think Rashawn Gary get an edge. That was clearly a need. The guys you lost, like Solomon Thomas.
Yeah, it's who cares?
But I think the biggest thing is their retainees. You retain Javonte Williams, you retain George Pickens for right now. There's no way Brandon Aubrey leaves, so you keep Brandon Aubrey. I think those are key retentions. And also, Dak Prescott is now going to play like a demon because of what's happened in the offseason with him. He's going to play like an absolute beast because his girl broke up with him.
Because you don't know the law of Dak Prescott. You don't know the law of Dak Prescott. Good season, bad season. Good season, bad season. What did he have last season?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Doesn't matter.
He no longer has he no longer has his
It's okay.
bitch, so
He
he's
he
gonna
he
play
was
like
single playing like shit before. It doesn't matter.
nah. He no
Yeah.
longer has his bitch, so he's gonna go crazy.
I would not expect him to be good next season. Anyway,
No distraction off the field.
I
So
promise you there will be a distraction. Anyway, we'll move on. We could skip this team. They didn't do anything. Denver Broncos. They've yet to sign a free agent, just some retention. So we'll give them a TBA, like the article did.
can I give him a grade?
Yeah, sure.
Can I give him a
I
D
said yeah,
plus?
yeah, sure.
I mean, you some of the guys you lost,
Yeah, I
not
think
bad.
that's
I think the retainees is what's holding
retainees.
up. I'm gonna be a signee, but I think keeping J.K. Dobbins on a cheap contract is good. I think keeping Alex Singleton at linebacker is good. So I'm gonna I'm gonna give him a C minus. I'm gonna give him a C minus. They've signed no one, but
I mean, they've
yeah,
retained some, but they've lost some. I'm just giving TBA. Detroit Lions. Um, I don't really know. I think I would probably say C minus. I don't think. Um, but like at the same time, like really what happened? Like obviously it was time for David Montgomery to go. I'd like to see how much money Isaiah Pacheco's gonna make. This article doesn't tell me, but yeah, I just don't really
I
think
think
anything's
Pacheco was a
changed.
$6 million a year guy. I think he was
Yeah,
right around the price of Rico Dowdle,
yeah.
um,
So
5-6 million a year if I'm not mistaken. Honestly, D plus C minus. I kind of hate this free agency for the Lions, to be honest. They got Juice Scruggs for an offensive lineman from the Texans in that David Montgomery trade.
cool.
Call me crazy. I think that trade's a lose lose. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I don't know. Yeah, I
I don't
would
like
give them a
the
C
Texans.
minus. They've really
Um,
done anything.
they got Cade Mays, the center. They got Pacheco. Yeah, they've retained like Rock Ya-Sin.
Yeah,
But you lose David Montgomery. You lose. I think losing Alex and Anzalone
yeah,
is a tough one to take.
yeah.
And I
It
think that's
definitely
going to
is.
bite them a little bit. So, I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna give them a
Khalif
C.
Raymond is no longer there. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna give them a C
not great.
minus.
All right, move on. Division rival Green Bay Packers. Obviously, big thing for them. They traded for Zaire Franklin. Um, is he an off-ball or on-ball linebacker? I always forget.
He's, I think, an on. He gets a lot of tackles. That man is a tackle machine.
So they might move
So
him around. I'd be
yeah,
interested to see where he starts because they have Micah Parsons. But traded for him. That's definitely a tool that'll be
yeah, he's an
utilized in
on
that
ball guy.
defense. Okay. Benjamin St. Juice. I mean, I don't think that's really a needle mover. So cool. Sky Moore, awesome. Like, I just don't like what they lost. Right. Let Quay Walker walk. Obviously, that was in ideas that you were replacing it with Zaire Franklin, but lost some other defensive guys. Romeo Dobbs. I know he's not amazing or a wide receiver one, but the Packers seem to think so. So it's probably not good. So yeah, I'd probably give them a C minus, probably a C as well.
Whoa.
I don't know.
I'm gonna
I haven't really
I'm gonna
heard
give
that
him a
much about. I just don't know if Zaire Franklin is like enough to cover their losses. I think we'll see how they replenish in the draft, but I think their defense, I think their coverage unit might not look as great, um, unless they like that. Not like deep coverage, they're like
yeah.
intermediate coverage, like linebacker, short corner, but
Yeah,
slot play. Anyway,
let me say this. I
yeah,
think St. Just, if we had AJ here, he would tell you that he was pretty solid last year for the Chargers. So I think it's a good signing. Sire Franklin, I like it. Get a guy who's going to wrap up guys who bounce around edge to edge. But you lost Quay Walker, which I think is a tough loss. I think that's their one big loss. You lost Rashawn Gary, which I don't know if you know this or even saw this, Baron, but Rashawn Gary, before free agency even started, said goodbye to the Packers on
I did see
Instagram,
that. Yeah.
deleted it, and then claimed he was hacked. So the fact you got a fourth round pick out of Rashawn Gary basically saying goodbye and knowing that he was gone, for a guy who also isn't crazy producing, I think it's actually a win for the Packers, more of a loss for the Cowboys. I think maybe not a win-win trade, but the Cowboys filled a position of need, but you also got a fourth rounder out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Quay Walker's a big loss, but I think Edgar and Cooper is going to be an absolute beast. I think he is poised for like a, like a big
Yes, it's
move,
true.
jumping the ladder. Micah Parsons, and then you got a guy who's going to get in that on ball, get a lot of tackles. So I think your linebackers are actually pretty solid. So I think this is actually like a B minus. Maybe I'm going to throw it around there in between a B minus and a B minus plus. Like I don't know what to call it, but I like it around the middle. Around the middle B. We'll give it a B.
Sure. I'd say B minus, C plus, but yeah, I just don't really. I think they're just not gonna do as well defensively after some of these losses. We'll see how they replenish in the draft, but right now I'm a little worried. But
Yeah.
moving on, Houston Texans didn't really do that much. Or they did do a lot. I don't really know what I'm saying, but offensive line help, defensive help. David Montgomery, that was a big trade. Yeah, I guess their biggest signing was Reed Blankenship. Get some safety help. That's pretty good. It was a lot of retention for them. Brought back Danielle Hunter, Ed Ingram, Dalton Schultz. Just keeping their guys on the roster. I don't know if that's for better or worse. We saw their roster last year. Obviously, their defense is really good. Brooks, I think I'm gonna give them a B, maybe B minus. I don't love that you haven't really addressed offensive line. That seems to be the
Yeah.
recurring theme here for the Houston Texans. But you have seemed to address almost every other position of need. So I think B minus is fair.
I think you trade away Titus Howard is actually one of your better offensive linemen of
Yeah, well,
the group.
yeah. Obviously,
I
the line sucks.
I I am not a big fan of David Montgomery. Not that he sucks. I just think that I'm just not. I think if you're the Texans, I think you just capitalize on somebody like Woody Marks. I think capitalize on more youth in your backfield. I think you can get someone like a David Montgomery style in a fifth or sixth round. And call me crazy, but I felt like go get yourself Tyler Algier if you want to get a younger guy who plays like David Montgomery. And the only reason Tyler Algier probably signed the Cardinals because he got the most money, so you could have got him at a little bit of a better team. Um, yeah, I think you bring in Foster Moreau, you bring in Reed Blankenship, you bring in Braden Smith, some solid names there, but ultimately for me, I think this is a B minus, C plus. I think I might eat my own words here when I say this, but I think people are going to realize that the David Montgomery trade was not a win for the Texans.
Yeah. Well, for starters, we can talk about that for a quick second. He's never been a workhorse running back, and that's
Yeah,
basically what they're asking him to do. He's on the back end of his career, and he's probably running behind the worst starting offensive line. So yeah, I
exactly.
would not be surprised if he sucks. But we just have to wait and see. Keep it in the division. We've got the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously the big two signings for them are both retention players, keeping Daniel Jones on a pretty big contract for the guy. I think it's around $44 million a year. But the big extension, Alec Pierce, 4 years, $116 million. That was the big free agent wide receiver we were alluding to earlier. Brooks doesn't seem too happy about it. I'm gonna give it a B minus. I think it might be a little too much money for what you're paying for. Brooks looks like he just saw a ghost, but you're trying to keep good players on your roster. And these contracts are not the Alex Pierce one, but the Daniel Jones contract is not damaging long term. So if it doesn't really work out, you can move off of it pretty easily. So
I'm tempted to give this a D.
okay,
I am. I'm tempted to give this a D minus.
okay,
I hate these moves for the Colts. So let me get my quick rant out before we move on.
all right.
Alec Pierce, what does Alec Pierce prove to you that he's going to make $29 million a year off a deep threat ball guy? Which to me, I don't think Alec Pierce is a game changer of a wide receiver. And now you lose Michael Pittman, and that's going to open up some more coverage recognition on Alec Pierce. And so to me, Alec Pierce is not a good money move. Is not to me. I do not like Alec Pierce for that amount of money. Arden Key comes in. Arden Key, sure.
Yeah,
You lost
sure.
Quiddy Pay, right? I mean, Quiddy Pay, you're not really making anything. You lost Zaire Franklin. I think that's a good linebacker you're losing. And
They
I
love
think that
that,
Daniel
but
Jones I think the Daniel Jones move, you're betting on a guy who has been inconsistent throughout his whole career. Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
know this is his first year off the Giants. Inconsistent throughout his whole career. He's coming off a major injury in a torn Achilles. And you wrap up, I think it was $46 million a year on
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones, somewhere around then. And they put the transition tag on him as well. Baron, I am not a fan of these Indianapolis Colt moves. Matter of fact, let me say this: one of my bold predictions next year is I think Daniel Jones is going to go right back to the Daniel Jones we think he is. So I'm going to give this a D. I think B minus is very generous here. I think they tied in money in the wrong places and the wrong people at the wrong time.
Uh, if this contract was more offensive, yeah, but I think this Daniel Jones contract is pretty easy to move off of. It's mostly guaranteed, so and it's pretty front loaded too. So if he comes out, stinks it up, you really only have to deal with that for 1 year, and then you can get off of it pretty easily. I think. They still have some
Also,
assets. Oh,
you need to replace Michael Pittman, in my opinion. You need to get this guy
I don't
who can
think
make moves
they're
for him.
doing that this year though. I think
They
if
don't.
you,
And guess what? They don't have a first round pick because of
no, they
Sauce
don't.
Gardner trade.
It's true. I think they're. I think they like what they've seen from Alex Pierce and Josh Downs. That's kind of a name that doesn't get. He's a he's shown flashes. He can step up and do it. I think he kind of took a back step to Alec Pierce's ascension from last season. If you look back 2 years ago, it was Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. I think they feel confident in his ability to step up, or else they wouldn't have moved off of Michael Pittman. What did they get for him too? Was it a third rounder, second rounder?
No, Michael Pittman was a. It was Michael Pittman in a seventh for a sixth.
Oh wow, okay, that's yeah. Good
Yeah,
lord.
you see what I'm saying?
Well,
It's all because of the money. He was on expiring, basically. Like they needed to pay up. The Steelers forked up the money to get the contract
I mean
extension.
he's
So
old. He's old too. So he might not be good next season. So again, they might know something we
I think
don't.
it'll be decent next year. But
Well, we'll see.
yeah,
He's
I think
gonna
it'll
have
be
a
decent.
40-year-old man throwing the ball to him, so we'll see. But
True.
yeah, I think don't love what they lost, but in terms of what's on the table and what you needed to keep, I think they did a
I
good
do
job
not
at
love
it.
what they lost.
And if the money gets tight, I think you can get off Daniel Jones pretty easy. And you got to remember, they still have Anthony Richardson, whether that's a backup plan or a trade asset. So but there might be some more moves in store for them. Here's another quick
Yeah,
one
they
we
told
can
Anthony
do.
Richardson to go shop.
That's true. Here's another quick one.
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars have signed no one. Lost Devin
Hey,
Lloyd.
that's not true.
Oh, well, they re-signed people. They didn't sign anyone new.
They signed. They signed someone new.
Oh,
Chris Rodriguez Jr., the running back. Come on.
okay. So they're getting a D. I
Yes,
think
thank you.
losing
They're getting a
Devin
B minus.
losing Devin Lloyd is huge. That was, in my opinion, your best defensive player last season for a defensive unit who was top 5 for most of the league year. So yeah, that's not good, and you didn't really bring anything. I think anything in to replace that. You lost your starting running back as well. Obviously, there's the whole Brian Thomas Jr. rumors. What position is Travis Hunter going to play? You got Jacoby Myers. I think that's a good thing. But yeah, this team is a big question mark right now. I feel like, and we have to wait to see what they do in the draft to really get a feel for what their identity will be going into the season. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think this is a D minus. Yeah,
Perfect.
Chris Rodriguez actually off the bat the best year of his career, but Chris Rodriguez in best year of your career is not really a
No, I don't even know
oh
who
my
that
god big free
is.
agent. Running back for Washington.
Cool.
Um,
Um,
let me say this. Yeah, Devin Lloyd, you lose. You lose. I think two names you need to mention here: Travis Etienne, the
that's what I
guy
said. Starting running back.
Travis Etienne, who
Whatever.
3 out of 4 years went over 1,400 scrimmage yards, which is a lot of yards to lose. And then I think you lose, not I think, but you lose Greg Newsom the second, which is a
Oh, I
great
forgot
corner.
about him. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a pretty solid corner to lose. You
I
lose a
saw
good
that yesterday.
secondary piece, and for a team which was the only AFC team, if I'm not mistaken, who lost in the wild card, who was a higher seed, right?
Yeah,
I think that's right.
it
Um,
is.
I think you could have ran this back. I think you could have ran this back as a 3 seed in an AFC South, which I think is open for you to take.
Oh
I
yeah,
think you just ran
easily.
this back. And I'm ready to say this, Baron.
Let's
I
hear it.
think I think I can officially moved the NFC South to number 7, the AFC South to number 8
Uh,
in terms
put
of
a,
worst division.
we'll put a pin in that. But yeah, I mean, seeing what Devin Lloyd signed with on the Panthers makes you question it even more how you didn't bring him back. So we'll just have to wait and see what they want to do. But yeah, right now, right now it does not look good. All right. Whew, here's a good one. Kansas City Chiefs.
Why'd you go
Um,
crazy?
they did not really. To my knowledge, I don't think they lost a lot outside of Trent McDuffie. But that was a trade, so they got stuff back for that. So I don't really
They
think
lost.
that's
They lost
bad.
Jalen Watson at corner, which is
Oh no, and
it's a
that
decent
safety that
loss.
went to the Chiefs. Whatever. They signed the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker. 3 years, $45 million. Saquon Barkley-esque contract. Brought back Travis Kelce for one more year.
And
It's really about it in terms of big names.
I mean, they got
Tyquan
Alohi
Thornton's coming
Gilman.
back. Who?
Alohi Gilman, he's a safety who's actually I think played like 78% of snaps last year.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So
I'm
that's
not
someone
familiar
who,
with him.
yeah. So that's someone you're going to get some good numbers with. Baron, you know what? I'll go first. I'm going to give this a B plus. I like this actually for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I do
I
too.
think you have a massive hole at corner right now, and I
Yes.
think that's going to come bite them in the ass in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But for right now, you got the Super Bowl MVP. You filled a very big need, which has been, I think, clouding you since your second Super Bowl win. Even your first, when you had guys like Williams in the backfield, and Pacheco is good. It's been clouding you since then. So you finally fill a position need for the last 6 years, and you just now need to fill corner, and you have 2 first-round picks, so you can start making some moves. If you're Kansas City, I like it. I like it. I think they're right back in the hunt for a playoff spot.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're right back in the hunt for their division. But we'll talk.
Ooh,
Well, we'll see.
ooh.
You don't want to bet against that team. But I'm not going, or we'll talk about what Kenneth Walker adds to that team in another episode. But yes,
There we
I
go.
would agree with you. B plus. Now, this one we might take a little bit of time on. The big spenders free agency, the Las Vegas Raiders. Brooks, I'm giving them an A.
You know what's crazy? If Max Crosby trade went through, this was going to be my winners of the offseason or
Oh,
of the
hold
free
on.
agency class.
Timeout.
So
It still might.
timeout.
They might not get as much. They might not get 2 first rounders, but they still might get a
Yeah.
first and a second, maybe a third. It still might happen. And even if it's not, though, and I think this is the key point, even if it's not, I think he's come back to a revamped defense that looks a lot better for this upcoming season.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
I think it might even be worth keeping him one more season at this point, and then trade him next offseason. We'll see. But I really love what they've done. Obviously, the key signings, their linebacker duo, Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean. That's going to be huge for them, I think. They signed Kwity Paye to kind of get some replacement for whatever his name is, Max Crosby. Obviously, he's coming back, so we'll see how that dynamic works out. Maybe if Max Crosby does stay, maybe Kwity Paye gets moved sometime before the season starts over the summer. But Tyler Linderbaum, that's a huge signing. Reset the center market with that. That's going to be huge
Oh,
for not only, Fernando Mendoza who's coming in, but Ashton Genty. That's really going to open up the interior run lanes for him. And if you give a guy like that some space, we know what he can do in open space. I really like these signings. Jalen Naylor, cool. I think that'll help. Give you some more receiver help because you lost Jacoby Myers. You don't really have anyone else for Mendoza to throw to right now, so that might be helpful. But I really like what this team's done so far. I say this team, it's clearly just been Tom Brady. I really like what he's done so far, getting this team in position. I think the defense looks actually kind of good for next season, assuming Max Crosby stays. If he stays, I think their defense might be kind of good next season. We'll see how Mendoza develops, but they're definitely doing all of the right things to put him in the spot to succeed. I'm giving them an A.
the reports are Mendoza may not start day one,
Even better.
which I like, to be honest.
Even
Um,
better.
even better, although he is a 4-year guy out of college, so
Yeah.
not a 3-year guy. But
Now,
Baron,
what's
just
one
remember,
issue?
if Max Crosby, put a pin in this, if Max Crosby goes for a first and a third or a fourth, even a first, second. What's scaring me is I don't know if he'll get shipped now because of the physical talks. But if he gets shipped for a first and a third or a second, these are my winners of the offseason. I think Linderbaum is it an overpay? I don't know because you reset the center market. Creed Humphrey was making 18 mil a year, which was the highest paid center. You have now pushed that to
I was going to say, you know who's the high or second highest paid center for 2 straight seasons?
Tyler Linderbaum. No,
No, Cam Jurgens.
nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, Tyler Linderbaum's coming off his
So,
rookie deal.
yeah, this will reset that whole market.
Yeah,
Thank God.
Tyler Linderbaum coming off his rookie deal, and so of course that was a joke when I said it. But 27 mil a year, they have blown up the center market. But I think rightly so because you'll have Mendoza coming in. I love N'Kobe Dean. You know how much we have spit N'Kobe Dean propaganda on this show. I like the Quay Walker signing. I even think for how bad they were last year, if my camera can speed back up to speed, there we go. It's been lagging all episode. I like them keeping Eric Stokes,
Oh
Malcolm
yeah.
Kuntz. I like these key renditions as well. Bear, I'm gonna give them. I'm not an A+ guy. I think if Max Crosby goes for a first and a second, give me an A+. Right now, give me an A- or an A. I'm down to go right there. I think give me A. Give me A.
hmm I'm struggling to think of a team I would say it's had a better offseason so far, besides maybe the Panthers. But yeah, I'm right there with you. They've
Yeah,
done everything.
I
Tom
love the
Brady.
move.
Tom Brady has done everything right so far.
But we do have to mention this for the great offseason they had. They have thrown a lot of money,
Oh
right?
yeah,
So
they
it's
had
going
the
to look
most.
great.
They had the most money to spend. That's how it works.
Yeah, so they've thrown a lot of money.
Yeah,
So
that's what the Patriots did last
just
year.
throwing that.
Look where they went. Anyway,
Yeah,
we'll move on. Los Angeles Chargers. Again, not really a team I've been following too closely. I don't really know who they lost, to be completely honest with you. I
I
know
can
they
tell you.
lost that one edge rusher. I forget where he
Oh, right.
went. Yeah, I
Yeah,
forget. He went to the Commanders, but
Olay.
that's a big loss. I know that hurts. I like
Thank
the
you.
offensive line help. I know you lost some offensive linemen as well in trades and signings, but I don't I don't know. I feel like I would have let Khalil Mack test free agency. I mean, I get it's 1 year, but 18 million, I would have spent that somewhere else, looking to draft for young edge rush help. But it's your vet, gotta respect your elders. So I'd give it a B-, C+. I think somewhere in that range. I don't think it's
Yeah, a
offensive,
little bit
but
lower.
I don't think they've done anything crazy good. So
I'm at a C right now for the Chargers. Um, I don't like you losing Odafe Owe. I don't like you losing St. Just. I think your additions you brought back. You brought back K.R. Tart. You brought back Khalil Mack. You brought back Kamani Vidal. You signed Charlie Kolar. I mean, you've signed. God, who else did they sign? Alec Ingold, who's a fullback. And they made Alec Ingold one of the higher paid fullbacks in the league.
well, they're one of the only
Todd-
teams that still uses a fullback. So
yeah, so C. I think this is a free agency where you just saw what the Denver Broncos did. You know that the Chiefs are going to bounce back maybe a little bit from last year. I think you had to make a push, and then they make that push. So
yeah,
I'm
I
going
don't
to
know.
see.
Yeah, I think they also just feel confident with what they have too. New offensive coordinator, young guys, but
We'll see. I'm
it's
not.
gonna be a draft point to be for sure. Now,
Yeah,
stay in the city. The Rams, um, A, A-. I mean, they haven't really lost
yeah.
anyone that I can think of. They addressed their one glaring need
They want it to.
pretty heavily, making the trade for Trent McDuffie. I guess if you wanted to say that there was a no, you can't really because they only gave up first round picks that they got in a trade, so they still have their first round pick technically.
Yeah. No, they don't actually. They have the Falcons first round pick,
No,
if I'm not mistaken.
even
So
better.
even better. Yeah. So they
So
have the Falcons first round pick, which is even better. They lost their first round pick, which is farther back in the draft. You get
yeah,
Trent McDuffie, an all pro corner. You
hmm
actually got the other Chiefs corner, Jalen Watson, which I think is a signing. And your one, Baron, the one thing we freaking talked about in our AFC, NFC needs, whatever, NFC West, Rams corner. And we saw it die on them in the NFC Championship game. This to me, I think might be second best free agency right now. You keep Cam Curl, you keep Higby, you keep Mevis. I actually don't know if they have somebody who's left the department yet for the
Yeah,
Rams. I don't think anybody's left yet.
I don't
So
think anyone has either.
yeah, so you just add, especially at the position of need, which is corner. Rams have put themselves in a great position for next year.
Yeah.
So,
If Matthew
which
Stafford can
I
hold
think
up.
is their last year of their window. So they're making that move now, try to, build on top of it. I like it.
Yeah, well, at some point, Matthew Stafford is going to give out, whether that's this season, next season, years to come. We don't know, but it's going to happen. So we'll wait and see. Anyway, Miami Dolphins. D. I mean,
Thank you.
just kind of giving away shit. They now incur the highest dead cap amount for a single player in NFL history by letting Tua walk or cutting him. Yeah, D. I mean, they're obviously it's another tank year. It's the most obvious tank I've seen in sports in a while. I think Malik Willis getting a bag that's nice, but cool.
It's nice for Malik Willis.
Yeah, good job,
Yeah.
dude. You're gonna be a backup in 3 years again anyway. So, I mean, I think and again, I'm not saying this is a slight, but he's playing. He's not he's an average to below average player, and he's playing in a horrible situation where anything that goes wrong will be blamed on him probably. So yeah, I just think it's not going to be well for him. But congrats on your money. Don't spend it all in one place. Now, we'll move on to the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, can I get my word on the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, go for it. Sorry.
Thanks. I'll go. Yeah, you're good. I'll go D plus. I think getting Uche is cool. I don't like the Malik Willis signing. He only has 6 career starts. Yeah, they got Joshua Uche, which is not bad. They got Zane Anderson.
Oh yeah, I
they
forgot. I
kept
guess
Greg Dulcich.
guess who Malik Willis pass game coordinator is too.
I genuinely had to look over and be like, who the hell did they get other than Malik Willis?
Exactly.
Because I remember most of them, but I think that the Malik Willis move to me is a D plus move, and I think that's where I'm going to put the Dolphins because you're surrounding Malik Willis, 6 career starts. He had talent in Green Bay. He's got no damn talent in Miami. So I think this is a move that's probably going to fail.
Oh, absolutely. Again, guess who his passing game coordinator is?
The greatest of all time. I think maybe the greatest offensive coordinator ever existed.
Stalin himself. You're right. All right. The Minnesota Vikings. I can't say the big H on YouTube, I'm pretty sure. So,
That's true.
See? I mean, what have they done?
The big H, by the way, is crazy.
What else are you going to use to refer to him as?
I'll give the Vikings a C plus. You kept Aaron Jones, which is okay. You got James Pierre, but to me, you lost Eric Wilson. I'm actually going to bump this down to a C. Eric Wilson's a bad loss.
No, this website says they retained him.
Oh yeah, they're retaining. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, back to C plus then. I was like, I swear they kept them. No. You're right. Sorry, it's been a long episode. Then I liked it. C plus then. C plus B minus then. Yeah, Eric Wilson. I've actually have gone to rants on that. I like them. So you keep linebackers or fill of need. I'm gonna give them B plus then, or B minus then. B minus.
It might be a trade coming soon too for some extra draft capital.
Oh wait! Minnesota Vikings. I remember I had to keep this one in my mind because it's not on the list.
Okay.
They're gonna go get Kyler Murray most likely, and depending on the money, I actually like that move. So if they get Kyler Murray, I'm gonna bump them up to a B.
Perfect. Yeah, I would agree. So perfect. All right, New England Patriots. Fresh off of your Super Bowl loss, what do? You got your wide receiver one you were looking for. Romeo Dobbs for 4 years, $68 million. Cool. C minus D. I mean, I feel like this is just a lot of. I don't know. I feel like they didn't really get that much better from the money they spent. They lost, or that they didn't lose, but they cut some guys. Harold Landry, Stephon Diggs, and again, I don't think they were going to get a lot of production out of them this year. I just don't see a lot of movement. I don't see anything that makes me think this team is on their way back to the Super Bowl next season. In fact, I don't know. I think they're gonna. No, they're not. They're gonna be second. I don't know.
That was my big prediction. That was my big prediction.
They're not going to be anywhere worse than second place in that division. You want to talk about bad division? I know the Bills and Patriots exist, but the mere existence of the Jets and the Dolphins might make that division the worst.
It's like Marvin Gaye singing the song "Valley and Mountain." Ain't no valley high enough. Ain't no valley. You know that kind of thing. Ain't no mountain high enough. Ain't no valley low enough. Because damn.
Yeah. I guess a
I'm
C would be fair.
I'm gonna actually give him a B.
Okay.
I kind of like the moves. I think Romeo Dobbs, for the money of what I've seen his wide receiver market go for, is not bad. I think he's only 25, and he's good at beating man coverage, so that's a good one. But one that I've raved about, Draymond Jones. He left the Ravens, was a good interior defensive lineman. He lands on the Patriots. I like that move. You take a little bit of a risk on AVT.
Sorry, this website doesn't have it, but they also signed Kevin Byard, so that'll bump it up.
Yes,
I think that was very good.
Yeah, they got Kevin Byard. I think they got KJ Britt too. So I'll give them a B. I don't think this is a back to the Super Bowl team, but I think this is improved on what they would do in the free agency line. So I'm gonna give them a B.
Yeah. Are we sold on Romeo Dobbs being their wide receiver one of the future, or do you think they still have some stuff to do in that?
It'll still be an issue. It will still be an issue. You need to get yourself another guy.
All right. So Brooks might not want to talk about this one, but we've got the New Orleans Saints. Dare I say B plus, A minus?
Dare I say B plus too?
Yeah. Travis Etienne, 4 years, $52 million. I think that's a pretty good signing. Again, top running back money, well deserved. Like you said, over 1,400 scrimmage yards every season of his career. For a guy that's basically replacing a long time guy in Alvin Kamara, I think that's a guy that'll fill that role seamlessly. They do a lot of the same things. Caden Ellis, that's another good signing, I think. That's one of those interior linemen, I think, that is very good, sneakily under the radar. Not one of those, like, top names you hear about, but, like, that very next tier. I think that's a good signing. Noah Fant, he's old, but I think one of those veteran, reliable tight ends, especially if you get a young guy to pair him with, I think that works a lot. And, yeah, I don't really think they lost that much, if I'm being honest. I can't remember them. I can't think of them really losing that much. So it's a young team. Got a draft to build off of this. Yeah, I think B plus is right where I would have them.
They lost. I'll give them a B plus. I think losing to Mario Davis is a bad loss. I think losing Alontae Taylor.
He's old though.
He's getting up there in age. I think Alontae Taylor's a solid corner. It's a bad loss, but you get Travis Etienne that fills your Alvin Kamara hole. That was really an issue at the end of last year. Was your running back? You still have, of course, Chris Olave. So you have really your 1, 2, 3, and your quarterback, running back, wide receiver.
Yeah.
I think Caden Ellis is getting up there in age, but I think for a 3-year deal, the money you got at him for how much I was amazed at him with Atlanta. Sucks that he goes technically back to the New Orleans Saints because that's where he was drafted. But I like that move for the New Orleans Saints. I think getting David Edwards is a good move. And I think actually retaining Julian Blackmon at safety, I like that move a little bit as well. So I'm gonna give them a B plus just because now I think they've put themselves. If Tyler Shuck, I got into a debate with this again with Carolina Panthers fans. People they have a downward spiral after a year or two. If Tyler Shuck can not only keep his production, maybe even improve a little bit, but keep his production. Again, I think the New Orleans Saints and the Panthers are looking each other dead in the eyes and going, "This is a bottleneck race to the division." And dare me say it, this to me is the Saints division to lose as well because you have a 4th place schedule, Baron. You have a 4th place schedule.
That's true.
And now you're right back up there. And the Panthers, they won their division. So they have a division winner schedule. So dare I say, again, this is a division that the Saints should be looking at like this is ours to lose.
There you go. Yeah, I agree. So, but yeah, I think the big thing, the Travis Etienne signing, I think that really opens up what they can now do with the 9th overall pick. I think a lot of people were just convinced they were going to take Jeremiah Love there. So whether you like Travis Etienne or not, or wanted Jeremiah Love or not, that is probably no longer on the table. And really, kind of like with the Panthers, it really creates a lot of scenarios where you can go with this first round draft pick, and I think that's pretty exciting if you're a fan. So good stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
There's
we're
one other
going
free.
to football hell. We're gonna move on right through in there, starting with the Giants. Great, great city of football hell of New York. Yeah,
Go
New
ahead.
York Giants. C plus, B minus. I guess
Ooh.
B. B's fair.
There we go. That's what I
B's
was gonna go
fair.
with. I like
Um,
B.
I like Isaiah Likely. I think Greg Newsom's good as well. I like how you revamped the secondary. You definitely need to do that with the division you're in. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of money tied in some older players, some washed players. So we'll see. But I don't think they really lost anyone. So I think that's a
I mean, they
good place to
lost
start.
Daniel Bellinger and Wandale Robinson.
Yeah.
So, I
So.
mean, those are guys who lost. But here's what I like. Ready?
Mhm.
This to me. Ready? I'm gonna surprise you a little. Actually, I don't know if I'm gonna surprise you. You know me. Tremaine Edmonds, I like that. Very veteran mind. I think he's been in the league for like 9 years and he's 29.
It's pretty crazy.
So yeah, insane. Isaiah Likely, I like 1-2 with Theo Johnson, Greg Newsom the second. Baron, you got a new coach coming in Harbaugh.
Mhm.
What is John Harbaugh like? What he just did, Baron, I think this is the biggest special teams win of anybody in free agency. You get yourself Jordan Stout. That's a big signing from the Ravens. Very good punter. Jason Sanders at kicker as well. You fix your kicker issue from last year. I like the special teams, man. You really improved those special teams. I think it's the biggest special teams win of all 32 teams. I'm going to give them a B because I don't think special teams is a needle mover, but we've seen it be a needle mover before. So give me the
I
B
mean,
on that.
me personally, I'm not scared about any John Harbaugh special teams, but sure, cool. I'll give him a B. But their counterpart, they're not getting off so easy. Jets, D. I mean,
Ooh, okay.
listen, Minka Fitzpatrick, 3 years, $40 million. That's way too much money, especially when you had to give up assets to get that. Not a good move. Geno Smith, he was going again. He was going to be a free agent. No one was trading for Geno fucking Smith, but
Yeah.
you. But you. You gave up assets for Geno Smith. I like Brees Hall franchise tag. I bet he gets traded. If I'm being honest, I think if they wanted to keep him long term, they would have just extended him. Um, yeah, Demario Davis. What is he? 36, 38. He's super old. 2 years, 22 million. I get that's a vet contract, but I don't think you're gonna get anything productive out of him. I mean, yeah, I'm just looking at these free agent signings, and none of these are. I don't look at any of these and be like, the Jets are back. And again, I don't think they're trying to be. I think they're also looking towards next year and kind of skipping over this year. But if that's the case, yeah, I don't know why you're not offloading everything for assets. So not tying up money in old players. So I think this has not been handled perfectly. If I'm going to be generous, I'll go C minus. But yeah, I don't like what they've done.
You know, Baron, I'm tempted.
Oh, good God.
I might give this a B.
All
You
right.
know, I might give this a B.
Okay.
Let me set the table. Okay.
Yeah.
This okay. I know we said quick explanations. Give me 180 seconds. Give
I
me
mean,
3 minutes, maybe.
3 minutes. I mean, I'm about to take up 10 for the next one, so go for it.
Oh yeah. I see what's coming up on the table. Okay. Let me give you 3 minutes of this one.
Yeah, it's the
Geno
effing
Smith.
Jets. Who cares?
Holy crap, Geno Smith. Yes, I get it. But you are paying a fraction of Geno Smith's contract and
True.
you only fell 20 spots. I like that. Geno
Sure.
Smith played on a shitty Raiders team, and Baron, you're going to be shit this year. So why not take a quarterback who you're barely paying any money for and throw him in there, and you get you right back down? Not bad. Demario Davis comes in as a veteran leader on the team. Do you have something to say?
Well, I was just to the Geno Smith point. If you're not bringing a quarterback in to be good, then you could really just sign anyone. So I don't know why you would
But you're
waste
you're
capital to get
you're
someone.
paying a guy. I think less than almost the minimum because the Raiders are eating the contract. The Raiders are eating some of that money. So I
I
kind of
guess.
like it there, and you
I don't
only
know.
fall 20 spots.
I would
Now,
I would have rather just waited and picked up an undrafted free agent and throw them out there. Okay, Klubnik, you're the next New York Jet. Have fun, and then next year we can readdress when you win 0 games. When you're trying to lose, I don't like giving up assets of any sort to contribute to losing. So that's my only thing. Continue.
Now they signed Demario Davis, veteran leader at linebacker, can help be a mentor, right? They signed David Onyemata, which Onyemata had a good year last year, right? They kept Brees Hall, who actually looks like he wants to stay in New York with how he's been talking, which is interesting. So that gives you another year for that. Um, you got some decent additions in Joseph Osai, right? I mean,
Sure.
you got Nashawn Wright, got Dylan Parham. To me, this is a B because you get yourself older guys in this room and you go, hey, we can now mentor. We can build up our younger guys. This is why I'm very high, Baron.
Okay.
This is why. Okay.
Let's hear it.
You look at all those names, I think you give it a C, maybe a C minus. Here's why I'm high on it. 2 first-round picks this year, 3 first-round picks next year. You bring in 5 young guys, and you're gonna get an edge off the draft because you're the number 3 pick, and it's gonna go edge, no doubt, with how talented this edge class is.
Mm-hmm.
You just brought in some edges that can teach you some very important things, right? You're gonna get probably another guy in the back half of the draft with the Colts pick, which the Colts didn't even make the playoffs, so that's a middle pick.
Yeah.
And then next year you have the Colts, the Cowboys, and the Jets.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here. Those aren't going to be in the 20s, in my opinion.
No.
Right? The Jets are going to be back in the top 5, probably, most likely. Probably, maybe even top 3, Baron, pushing for number 1. Let's be honest here. Then you're going to get the Cowboys and the Colts, which, in my opinion, maybe playoff teams next year. So you're fringing around that 15 to 22. That's really solid next year. I mean, that's a really solid base. And you also have a second-round pick, I think, this year in the Sauce Gardner trade as well. So it's, to me, I like this. Ultimately, I'm going to give this a B just because of what they've built for the future and how it can translate for draft picks. If I'm going solely off what they've got, Baron, I'll give it a C minus or D plus. But I like how they're building it.
Yeah, I don't like any team giving any sort of assets away when the goal of that is losing. I think that's just stupid. That's knocking it down. And I just don't like all this money tied up in, guys that are plus 35 years old because, again, you and I both know how quickly things can change in the NFL. And I'm not saying the Jets will quickly turn it around with these 5 draft picks, but when it like you said, what if they have a bunch of let's say they hit on all 5 of these draft picks and they're future franchise stars, whatever. Then now they don't want to tie up money in Brees Hall because they have money they need to save for these guys, and they have money already tied up in these useless old dudes. So I just don't love the amount. I think it's fine having veterans splash around here and there, but you don't need one in every effing position. So that's why I'm giving it C minus, D plus. And it's the Jets. They're winning 3 games. Who cares? All right, Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this initial grade is getting a pin put in it because I do think the majority of what they're going to do is going to happen in the next coming days. But I'm giving them a C minus. I really think, and that's mainly just because of what they lost, right? Jordan Davis extension, that's great. Love that for him. I love Jordan Davis, so I was happy to see that. And then the next big thing, at least coming out of Eagles camp, was the big push was to re-sign Jalen Phillips. That was their huge focus going into free agency, the days leading up to free agency. Obviously, a deal does not get done before it opens up. And then right as it does open up, the splash or the reality sets in. The Carolina Panthers had a better offer, $30 million a year. That was one that I think if you ask any Eagles fan, not a single one would want to match. So it's fine. Thank you for your services. Enjoy Carolina because we're not paying you that much. The next question comes when you look at the other guys we lost, right? There was not a single thought in my mind that Nakobe Dean was coming back just because of how much money we had in Zach Bond and drafting Jahad Campbell and how he played. But for $13 a year, $13 million a year, I might have entertained some of those thoughts. Reed Blankenship, $8 million a year, I would have probably brought him back. I don't know. If I was the GM, I would have brought him back for that money. I'm trying to think who else. Jahan Dotson, he was never coming back. I think he'll be good for the Falcons. But yeah, we gotta get a new wide receiver 3. The one big signing, right? Tariq Woolen. And obviously, I texted you initially right after. I was excited because that's the first guy we signed. I'm still very excited. I think this is a guy who has his downside. I think you just need, but you have to look at the upside. Again, this is a cornerback 2 coming off of a Super Bowl winning team in free agency, right? Number 1 corner in this year's free agency class, and you get him for $15 million a year. I think that's kind of a steal. I think the upside is tremendous, especially because I think if you look at guys like that, right, young cornerback 2s that are coming into free agency behind the shadow of a better cornerback that's younger, I think those guys usually get picked up and thrown into cornerback 1 scenarios because teams are like, you've got it, you can do it, we need you. That's not what he has to do. He's going to be cornerback 2 behind Quinyon Mitchell, so he probably won't have to guard the team's best wide receiver. This is a guy came in the league in 2021, won Defensive Rookie of the Year. Since he has stepped foot on the on an NFL field, he has led the league in pass breakups. Has 12 interceptions. So I think everything's there that you want for a good cornerback too. He's young, he plays physical, he's 6'4", runs a 4.2. It's just the attitude, right? We saw in the NFC Championship game, his taunting penalties, they get out of control. Almost lost him that game, and he does let up some big plays. I think those are the 2 big critiques, but I think you throw him in this Eagles system, I think it works. You're not asking too much of him, and I mean, Philadelphia is where character issues get put to bed, right? You look at guys who come out of the draft with character issues, those don't persist in Philadelphia. So yeah, I think this is good for him. I think this is good for us. I'm really excited about it, and I don't think, like I said, I don't think a single quarterback in the NFL would want to see this cornerback room in the league. I think it's the very last one anyone would ever want to see. I think it's the best in the league so far. So I think that's really good, and I think there's more to come. I think after losing out on Jalen Phillips, they are looking at Jonathan Grenard trade from the Vikings. They are looking at a Max Crosby trade with the Raiders. They made a very big push for Trey Hendrickson. I think you will see something get done there. And they signed Johnny Munt. They re-signed Grant Calcaterra, 2 tight ends. I think you see one more tight end get signed, whether that's Dallas Goedert being brought back or David Njoku putting on that Kelly Green next season.
Yeah, it's my turn. Of course, you gave me the floor for the Falcons. I give the floor for the Eagles as our teams. So I'll make it quick. C plus actually. I think I'll give it a C.
That's
just because
probably what I'd give it.
I think your departures is really what's bringing you down. I think losing Blankenship, Dean is tough. Jalen Phillips for that money, yeah, you're gonna lose him. But
yeah, he's not coming back.
Losing Jalen Phillips is still a loss of Jalen Phillips.
Now, there also have been rumors that if Jonathan Grenard gets traded to the Eagles, he will immediately get a pretty good contract extension. So that could be another reason why there hasn't been a lot of money spent. Jordan Davis or Jalen Carter needs to get extended.
Yeah.
And Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. But, I forgot the other point about the Tariq Woolen trade is it's also just 1 year. Mm-hmm. So if he sucks and it doesn't work out, bye-bye.
The reason I like Tariq Woolen, which is actually going to be pretty funny, moving at quarterback 2, you get DeJean in his slot spot that I think y'all really like. So I think that's actually, I gave a little trash. I'll give you a little bit of props there. Second reason is, Tariq Woolen plays with a lot of motion on his sleeve, which in Philly, you make a play and you show emotion, you get the crowd 120 decibels. So I think going there is also really good if you're going to make a play and show emotion, which also then can backfire against you. But Philly's definitely a place you want to go if you can show emotion. So I'm still going to – I think it's an okay move. It's 1 year. It's a do-or-die deal for Tariq Woolen, and maybe a change of scenery helps in a good cornerback or a good corner pass coverage team. There we go. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's still a C, C+, C. We'll give it a C. So,
More to come, though. All right, keep it in state. Pittsburgh Steelers. B+.
B- for me.
Yeah, I don't love the Michael Pittman trade. Again, for a 6th round pick, I don't really think you can be that mad at it. But what's he gonna get you? Don't know. Cameron Hayward, that's cool. I think that's fine. I'm not gonna get mad at that. For a team that just brought back Brandon Graham, I'm not gonna get mad at a team re-signing Cameron Hayward. I like Rico Dowdle, especially losing Kenneth
Kenneth
Gainwell.
Gainwell,
I think that's a good pairing with
Jalen
whatever.
Warren.
Yeah, that guy. So we'll see how that works.
I'm here to remind you of some names.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I don't really think they lost too much, if I'm being honest. I think the big question right now is who's throwing the football next season. And it's interesting to me. This is the one thing that I want to talk about. And maybe they don't have the money, but I don't know why the Steelers don't want to bring Kyler Murray in. You have
Thank you.
DK
Thank you.
Metcalf. You have now
Thank
Michael
you.
Pittman. You have a
Jesus.
decent run game. You have some tight ends that can catch the football. I mean, this is by all means an offense that's set up for a quarterback to succeed in. And I don't know why you are just limiting yourself to 48-year-old Aaron Rodgers or 19-year-old Will Howard. So that's the other thing. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't pan out, guess who their backup plan is before Will Howard?
Yeah. You want to say it before I go on my rant?
You can say it.
No, it's all you. Finish your point so I can open up my table.
Big Kirko, you know, the $180 million man himself, highest paid quarterback in NFL history. All right, take it over.
Did he officially sign the Steelers or no?
No. I'm saying that's their backup plan if Aaron Rodgers
Yeah,
doesn't come
probably
back.
actually. So I was about to say I didn't see that.
No, he hasn't
I
yet.
was going to say Will Howard, but you got it.
I think that's their third. That's their third string. That's their third plan.
Um, I think the grade kind of depends on who's going to step in at quarterback. Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Is it going to be? I think Kyle. You took the words of mouth. I think Kyler Murray should be looking here if something doesn't happen.
I mean, he might
Or
be. The thing is, they aren't looking at him. They have no
yeah,
interest of bringing Kyler Murray in, which is crazy. Again, I think they're looking towards next year's quarterback class, but
yeah. I think you get Michael Pittman via trade in a very low loss, just contract move. I like it. Rico Dowdle, decent, not bad, nothing special. Um, you didn't really lose too much. Isaac Sumalo, Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, okay. To me, their biggest thing they need to address, which brings down their grade a little bit, is their offensive line, because their offensive line wasn't that great last year. It's actually a pretty bad. It was a shell of what it can be. So I'm gonna give it a B minus,
there. I'm gonna go B.
C plus. I think they're to B minus. We'll go B minus just for Michael Pittman trade. I think they won, but I think this is completely torn on who is going to be signal calling next year and throwing the football. So
Good call. We'll do these. We have 5 left. We'll see how fast we can do them. This one
let's
might
do
take a
it.
while though. San Francisco 49ers.
Is this one going to take a while?
Now, big play of the day or the week was Mike Evans. Added to that offense. You tell me. I don't really know who they lost, if anyone. C. I mean, Mike Evans is what, 32? You tie him up till
Yeah.
he's 35 for $64 million. I mean, this has got to be the oldest offense in the entire league. Yeah, I mean, this. I look at this and I'm like, cool. Like, I don't think this makes them Super Bowl contenders all of a sudden. I mean, half Mike Evans and George Kittle might not even play half the season. They could get injured. Christian McCaffrey might get injured. Brock Purdy might get injured. Like, all these guys are injury prone. Like, I don't think this is a needle mover. It's a big name, and it's definitely going to get people back into the stadium if you were having a problem with that. But, yeah, I don't think this is anything huge. I'm going to say C+. I don't think they lost anyone, so maybe B-, but C+ is where I'd have
They,
it.
well, I'm actually giving them a B. Maybe even,
Okay.
yeah, I'll give them a B. They lost
I'll give
Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver,
I'll go B-.
but they replaced them with freaking Mike Evans. So
Yes.
to me, that's actually an improvement. I'll give him a B because Mike Evans perfectly fits the damn mold of what the San Francisco 49ers is. And that is, we are old and we need to win now, and now we're going to rebuild. And so they get Mike Evans 3 years. I think they'll probably have him for 1 or 2. You probably don't win the Super Bowl, but you get their old guy who's a veteran to try to make a move. And they went pretty well last year. Also, we have not mentioned, by the way, maybe the Steelers go out and get Mac Jones. Mac Jones, free agent, that Niners quarterback. We'll
I don't
see.
know. They've made it pretty
But
clear they don't want to trade him.
yeah, So we'll see what happens, but I think it's actually a B because you replace Kendrick Bourne with a better player and Mike Evans. What does Brock? Oh, what does Brock Purdy love to freaking do? If you
Throw the
watch,
ball
you
up.
would know because you hate them. He loves his damn 50-50s. I mean, get up there, get up there. Mike Evans is a damn 50-50. Go up and get it, Mo. You know what I'm saying? So um,
Just got to
I
stay
like
on
it.
the
I'll give it a
field.
B. I'll get a B. He's got to stay in the field. You lost Kittle probably half the season. So, ooh, maybe even a B plus because they kept Jake Tunges and Tunges
That's true.
coming back. I think is a good. I'll give it a B, B plus, B plus,
I'll give
maybe
him
B plus.
a B
So,
minus.
and they kept Eddie Pinero on that 1 year deal. He actually kicked really well. In once they signed him because he said fuck the Falcons, which fuck you, Eddie Pinero.
There you
Fuck
go.
you.
All
So
right, cool. Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl winners. Hard to keep your team intact when they all won a lot of money, but I think they've done a pretty decent job. I think you signed. Okay, Brooks says no. I think they've done a good job with the money they have. I think Raheed Shaheed, I think that's a good signing, especially since you don't know how much longer Cooper Kupp has, and you definitely don't want to isolate this Emerald City route artist. Josh Jobe, I think that's a good signing for the money it's worth. Obviously, 3 years, $24 million. That's a lot cheaper than $15 million a year, and he certainly has the attributes to play cornerback too, next to Witherspoon. So I think that was a good signing over and letting Witherspoon walk. But yeah, they did lose some guys, and that hurts. But I'm gonna give them a C plus.
I'll drop it down. I'll probably give him a C minus.
Okay.
I think Shaheed's okay money. You keep Josh Joe, but I think losing guys like Boya Mafe, losing guys like Kobe Bryant, Kenneth Walker.
Well, they were never bringing Kenneth Walker back, but
Yeah, I know they weren't, but again, you just have to grade it for what they lost.
it's
And
true.
Zach Charbonnet has that ACL injury,
Mm-hmm.
so he's not coming back for
Yeah, I
half the
think
year.
they're drafting a running back. Don't worry.
So
But that's kind of what
maybe maybe
this.
somehow if Jeremiah Love just sings.
No, he'll be a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
But they're definitely going to use that. We're going to take a running back in the 4th or 5th round. We have a good offensive line, and we have a good pass attack. They'll benefit from it.
And I think what we have to say is we have to grade them off their season. They lost 2 games all year, all one possession.
Yeah.
And the 2 games they lost were all one possession, and they won the Super Bowl. And I don't think they win the Super Bowl next year.
No, they'll have
Just
the
to be
hardest
real.
schedule in the league.
So,
I don't think they
yep.
make the NFC champion. I don't think they win their division, but we'll see. But we'll move right along. Rams.
I agree.
Anyway, okay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, baby. I'm gonna go see. Nah. I like the Alex Anzalone trade a lot. I think they have lost a lot, and that's why I want to give it low. But I like Alex Anzalone. I don't know why you signed Kenneth Gainwell. I guess did Bucky,
Because you
not Bucky
lost,
Irving,
you
Rashad.
lost White.
Yeah, that's right. I guess that's fine. 2 mil or 2 years, $7 million a year. I think that's okay for a backup running back, even though that's kind of starter money for some guys. But yeah, you lost a lot. Yeah, that's just how it is. Jamel Dean, Mike Evans. I'm trying to remember who else, but yeah, it's not great. But if you want to look at positives, you got young guys, Bucky Irving, Emeka Ibuka. Okay, maybe that's it. But like we said, it's the natural cycle. Okay, fine. D plus. C minus. No, I'm gonna stick with it. C minus. I really like the Alex Anzalone trade. I think that's gonna help keep their defense from falling off the face of the earth. They have some pieces around there, but this is an old team, and it's time to retool and trade. So, yeah, C minus.
C minus as well. I was going to say that around there. I think this team is regressing. This team will not be better than they were last year. They have a hole to fill in wide receiver because I think Chris Godwin's health is really not going to fit the bill. Jalen McMillan has to step up now as a wide receiver too. Is Emeka Ibuka with? We know how Emeka Ibuka played the first half, but the second half he was very poor.
It's
Is he
true.
really going to be that guy again? We have to see. We have to find out. Um, They lost Mike Evans, of course. I did say earlier, I like the Alex Anzalone, and I will keep it that way. I like Alex Anzalone, but I think this team's regressing. And as an NFC South truther, they are going to finish third in the division.
There you go.
So, yeah, I think it's back to the drawing board for the Bucks after this season. Actually,
Alrighty, yeah, I might be tend to agree with you there. All right, last two, let's do it. The big
let's do it.
spenders of free agency, the Tennessee
Oh yeah,
Titans, top 3 winners for me personally. I'm giving them an A. I loved what they did by or spending for their defense. The 2 corners they signed, I think those are great young signings for the money they're worth. I think we'll get a lot of production out of that. I like the offensive line revamp. I like the defensive line revamp. Obviously, all centered around making sure that you're getting pressure on other teams' quarterback while protecting yours at the same time. They didn't lose a lot of key names to free agency. Yeah, I think they really only added to their young team, and they're setting Cam Ward up for success. I'm giving them an A.
I think I'm thinking B plus.
It's fair.
They lost Arden Key. They lost Chigakonkwo. They replaced those players though. They got Daniel Bellinger from the Giants. They got Jermaine Johnson in that trade from the Jets and the Robert Sala guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
they got
completely forgot
Wandale
about that too.
Robinson. Yeah, they got Wandale Robinson. They got Solomon Thomas. They got freaking like Cordell Flott. I mean, they got a lot of names here. Now, this is why I'm thinking B plus for the Titans, maybe even like a B. Baron, we are old enough
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because this isn't that far back when the Titans had an absolute expensive spending spree, and they spent I think like $215 million in free agency, and then they went 30-14 and had the number 1 overall pick. I think they surrounded themselves with a better quarterback this time to maybe not go that way, but to me,
And coach.
let's be honest here, Baron. I'm gonna try to keep it consistent. It's not me calling you out, but I'm trying to keep it consistent with what you're saying. This kind of gives off New York Jets to me, and we're talking about. I think these guys are less proven than what the New York Jets signed, and the Titans should be trying to not do New York Jets because the New York Jets are rebuilding. The Titans need to start pushing up a little bit. They start climbing up. Now they got their franchise guy, and none of these guys are needle movers. They're all just, So I
I
don't
don't
know
know.
how much this can
To
improve.
me, I feel like a lot of these guys are coming off their first contract, and I would argue they have a lot more to prove. But again, I'm not familiar with all of them, so I can't speak. I guess that general.
Yeah,
But overall, I like what I see. They seem to be. Again, I think it's 2 different scenarios. If you want to add players that might not be necessarily proven to a team actively rebuilding, I think that's a lot less offensive than tying up money in a team that's tanking, because the idea of tanking is having no money tied up and getting as much young and draft assets as you can. This team is clearly not doing that. They're working on rebuilding or building. They've already started the rebuild, and that sometimes takes some older guys, some more production. I don't think all of these guys, I would say, are veterans, but yeah, I just like it a lot more. I'm gonna say it. I'm sticking with it.
all right. Yeah, we got one more.
All right.
We made it.
Washington Commanders, the oldest team in the NFL, stays the oldest. I like the. I'm not gonna attempt to say that. I like the edge signing. I know he's good.
What? Adafa
25.
Owe?
Yeah, I'm not gonna attempt that. Anyway,
That's not hard to say.
stop, don't even make me try.
My
$25
bad.
million a year. I don't think that's too much, too little. I think that's right about where he deserves for his production. I think that's a big loss for the Chargers, especially since you kept Khalil Mack over him. I don't really think they lost that much. It's just outside of Odafe, whatever, however you say it, whatever. What I mean, I guess Leo
Adafa Owe.
Chanel. Leo Chanel's good. He's old though. Like that's what I'm saying. I think these are just more adding vets to the veteran home.
Yeah.
So I just wish they went out and got some younger guys. Maybe some more. Marcus Lattimore was released. And their DB room did not get better. So that'll probably be a draft focus, but I think I would have liked to see that with some of the not big name, but some of the corner names in this free agency class. Yeah, because you definitely need you definitely need corners in your division when you have to play CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens 2 games, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith 2 games, Malik Neighbors, and maybe Isaiah Likely soon in 2 games. I don't know. The Giants might add a receiver in this year's class. So yeah, you definitely need DBs. Don't love that you didn't address that. I'm gonna give you a C minus, maybe even a D
Yeah, I'm
plus.
right there. Yeah, I'm right there. Um, I think Jaden Daniels needs to get traded.
He might.
I think he does.
Don't tell that to
He
any of
does, but
them.
I think he does.
They won't
Because
do
look
it.
at the free signings he made.
I
Look at the
know.
free signings he made, though. Nothing
I know.
special.
I know.
And, Landover, Maryland, freaking the Washington Commanders, they need to actually
Do something.
they're in that spot again, which I think they're in the Falcons territory, which is you're not good enough and you're not bad enough, and they need to get rid of what's making them really good, which is their quarterback, and it also had some injury problems last year. Get your capital and swing. I think look at the signs you made. Is nothing crazy. So I think you got to move. This is a C minus for me. Um, Again, I think the Commanders are in a horrible spot, and
Yeah.
they need to make the decision, and the decision is back down to the
Yeah,
bottom.
you're right. I wouldn't expect anything more from a Josh Harris led team.
Facts.
So, well, that's it. That's all 32
That's it. We've done it.
teams. It's a long episode, almost an hour and 45 minutes, but
Jesus.
it'll take place of next week's too. So think of it as a combined one.
Let's go.
So yeah,
Basically 2 episodes of content into one.
exactly. And we'll be on a normal format next week or next time probably, or what we've been doing, I guess. But yeah, this is the free agency special. Let us know what you think of all of the free agency moves that's happened. What do you think's yet to come? And what grades would you give any of these teams? Brooks,
Yeah,
final words.
that's what I'm wondering. What grades would you give these teams? What is the best free agent signing? Who is your best team? Who's your worst? Let us know down in the comments. Other than that, that'll be another episode of Nothing Great. Thank you so much for listening. We are hoping you're not going to pull Atlanta Falcons and be an absolute trash and break our hearts. Do everything you can to have a great March of happy weather. Screw daylight savings and peace.